Hi Julio, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty well. So my first question is about this kind of blend of magical realism and reality that you have going on in Problemista.
Hmm.
What do you think it is about fantasy that allows you to kind of get to the heart of reality?
Well, I think it's a personal instinct thing that just happens to be. It's not like something that I put on. It's for whatever reason. It is the way that I am currently um capable of like conveying how things feel. Um, it is uh the intention of it is always rooted in feeling. It's not like image first or costume first or set first and then like idea later. It's like uh how can I best showcase um the way that these things feel and the way that these things feel specifically to this protagonist, and that's just sort of how it comes out.
The center of the story is about Ale and his sponsorship, but also trying to pursue his dreams. And it kind of made me think of the myth of the American dream. And how do you feel? Do you feel like the American dream is either a hero of the story or the villain of Ale's story?
I think that I don't know about hero or villain, but it's
Mhm.
definitely the uh the almost like the trap of the story, the uh uh this idea that or sort of like uh the story examines it and questions it, because this idea that like if only he tried hard enough,
Mhm.
uh that everything could be his. The caveat is that you have to, or at least in the case of this protagonist, is like um break some of the rules that they tell you are in place for the pursuit of this quote unquote dream. So it's sort of like a, a catch 22 where it's like uh here's this dream of yours that you can pursue, but also we are also putting in place rules for this game that make it impossible for you to achieve it.
Mhm.
Um, so it's like a board game with flawed rules. Um, and then you're made to feel like you're supposed to uh win the board game, but while following the rules. So I think that um yeah, had everything been 100% completely by the books, um I don't think his goals would have been possible.
Right. Um, the scene that I feel like is going to be the talk of the whole movie is the Bank of America scene, just because I feel
Yeah.
like so many of us have had that terrible conversation that is kind of funny to laugh at the way that you presented it, but it's also um kind of terrible to have to be like treat me like a human. But the whole film has this blend of stark honesty, but also comedy. Is that something that comes naturally for you in terms of your own writing and your own work?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it like humor, like these fantastical elements, is how my truth comes out. Is how I'm better equipped to say these things that I'm feeling.
Mhm.
Um, and then the surprise then for me is that like these feelings are shared with people, because I'm not like reverse engineering like, oh, what is an experience that a lot of people have had that will be relatable to see in a movie. It's just an experience I had, and like um and I like to think, I hope that even people who have never been in a position anyway like the ones in the movie uh leave with an understanding of of something different, or can apply that feeling to whatever they have lived through.
It's your first feature as a director, but it feels like there was a lot going on in terms of like production things to juggle, like with the different realities that you kind of
Yeah,
play with. Was it like, do you feel, was there a sigh of relief when filming was over, or were you kind of like uh thrilled by the challenge of it all?
I was so excited. It was a very joyful, very exciting production. I really enjoyed the process of it. And um in retrospect, when I'm like try to be like objective and look back on it, it's like, yeah, it's a very ambitious first movie. It's not um a simple like dramedy.
Mhm.
Uh um but I think that I don't know, it's what was in me at the time, and I think that uh I'm glad that I don't feel a sense of regret for putting as much of me as I could, because you know you sort of never know. You like everyone says first movie, but someone's first movie could be their only movie.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't take anything for granted. Uh I think that now I'm starting to get into the confident MySpace, MySpace, the confident headspace that that's so funny. In the confident headspace that uh that there could be more. But yeah, but at the time it was just like, oh, don't waste this on like a very simple thing that um you are only doing because it is simple and easy.
Mhm.
Um, so it felt like I needed to pour so much of myself in it.
Since you accidentally said MySpace, though, I have to ask because Larry as Craigslist was one
Yeah,
of my favorite parts of the film. If you
yeah.
personified MySpace, what is it gonna look like?
Oh my God, what is it? Well, that one's tough because it ostensibly had a mascot, right?
Right.
But I think it would be like an emo little teen, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, that was all of us on MySpace together.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, totally.
So one of the themes about the in the movie is this idea of art as remembrance, but also elongating life beyond the natural life that we know of. Is that
Yeah.
something that's front of mind in like your career and something that you are like concerned about whether or not, how you'll be remembered?
I wouldn't say front of mind, but definitely back of mind.
Hmm.
Definitely like somewhere in there. I do think a lot of like I'm very interested in I always care more about cultural significance and making something that is lasting.
Hmm.
Uh I am more interested in that than immediate success. I think that there's a lot of movies right now that are immediate that gain immediate success, but I don't know whether or not 10 years from now, 20 years from now, people would revisit them,
Hmm.
or if they're just like a spike in the timeline. And I really aspire to be more of an echo, and um that's always been like the kinds of movies that I have loved. I have no idea what their first release week was, how many people saw it, what the critics of their time said, and that I think ultimately I that's not where my mind is at. I just like want to make work that speaks truth, regardless of the amount of people that speaks truth to.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. The movie is very lovely.
Thank you so much.
I had to watch it on my tiny laptop screen, but I hope it gets to Pittsburgh on the big screen soon.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.